Good morning. I'm Marla Copal, and I'm here every morning at 8:30 to share with you some of my wisdoms, insights, and just some planning strategies for your own personal marketing. As a mentor for attraction and network marketing, I have systems and tools that people like to use to help them organize their days and build their teams. And I work across companies to help people with that knowledge that maybe isn't there for them in their leadership or isn't there for them in their um, past experiences. And so I want to talk about that today. So, self assessment is the title of this talk, and mentors. And a mentor is not a coach. Uh, they don't come with a formula. They come with a listening formula, and they'll hear where you are, where you're stuck, and what you might like to try, and then help you create a plan that you'll be able to stick to. So I was listening to one of my thought leaders last night, and he was mentioning a book that he read, which is on my list now to buy, but the book is not the point today. The point is he has set himself into a process of understanding that as a leader, and I think he's a really great leader, he still has more that he can give, do, assess, and work with to make his whole business more powerful and make everybody within that business more powerful. So I liked what he had to say. And we know this information, but it's interesting how always it takes a little bit of time for somebody from the outside to come back and say this information and help us hear it again so that we get the value we need so that we can then share that value with others. So what he was talking about is, are we always in alignment with what we're thinking, with what we're saying, and with what we're doing? Now, as I think about this, I look back at past experiences I've had in running my business many years ago. And that was the one thing that I worked with everyone on my team. I worked with them with this because sometimes they got a little frustrated with the rules that I had. Well, it was very simple. I ran a management company, we collected rent, and it was due on a certain day, late on another day. And when people came in and said they couldn't pay rent, there were some people that always, their hearts were big. They went out to those people and they wanted to help them. They would come back to my office and they would say, well, they can't pay the rent. And I said, there's probably 5% of the people that we rent to that on a monthly basis are going to have a struggle with this. However, the one thing that you and I have to remember is we manage these properties for the owner, and we cannot come in and take care of the renter any more than we take care of the owner. It's called a fiduciary responsibility. And they'd look at me and I'd say, here it is. You just simply say, rent is due on, it is late on. Is there anybody else that can help you? Never say, okay, don't give them permission to pay late. And when you just go back that way, you'll start finding that people will find a way. They will go to somebody else for the solution, not to us, because we can't be the providers of the solution. And most of everybody learned. And then I quickly realized when a couple of them would come and ask me this on a monthly basis the first couple of months that they're there, it was like, what is it about our need for consistency that you don't hear and can't relate to? And I would just ask them all, do you pay your rent? And they said, yes. And I said, then what solution would you provide other than the one we have? They didn't have an answer. I said, yeah, so it is okay to have empathy, but it cannot get in your way of doing your job. So what's my point? My point is that we all have to take action sometimes that are uncomfortable. But the action I think that is the most uncomfortable for us is to do our own alignment assessment at the end of every day. So I'm really pleased that I heard this last night because it's a way for us to all really look at why we are or are not doing as well in our business as we might like to be. So let me explain. We all set goals. So let's just talk about anybody in network marketing. Somebody sold you a promise. Many of you have been sold a promise. Many of you have found what you wanted, and that promise is working for you. Others of you have jumped from one place to the other. On the average, in the last 10 years, many of you have done 5 different network marketing opportunities. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Was it because you couldn't see what it was you needed to do? Was it because it's not about the product, it's not about the pay plan, it's really about your own alignment. So you might have had the dream, but you know what? If you don't get out there and talk about it, nobody's going to know you're even doing it, right? If all you're doing is irritating people by going back to the same 100 people over and over again, that's going to lose you friends and make you enemies, and it's not going to work either. So what you have to do is to find people who are not attached to that company to be your guide into all things marketing, all things sales, so that you can find your way of being in business. And then you want to take that and transfer it to a team. So if any of this is making sense to you, let's make it simple for you in a way that you could initiate some action now. So if you're talking to friends at a coffee shop and you're introducing the product and you're saying, oh yeah, I'm going to build a team of 100, but in the back of your mind, you know you only have one, that's okay. At the end of the day, I want you to listen to what you said. I'm going to build a team of 100. And I want you to come back at the end of the day and say, what action did I take towards that? Did I schedule 5 phone calls? Did I talk to 5 people? Did I actually withdraw the offer of the product from someone because I could tell they weren't ready? So there's multiple actions in building a business. It is not just contacting them on the phone, talking to them, telling about why your product is great and pushing them. Every day I get contact on Messenger. Nobody's had a conversation with me. It's not like we had coffee. It's not like, oh, by the way, we've had a great time today. And just in case you're interested in something, I'd like you to know about this. No, these are direct, like, hey, do you need this? Hey, do you need this? No, no, and no. Because what I need is I need a conversation so that I feel they know me and I can learn something about them and we can see if we have any kind of alignment. So we say things, we think things, but our total business success is measured by what we do. What actions did we take? What actions did we follow through with? If we were different in what we said and what we thought than in what we did, we're in a breakdown process and no network marketing company will work. It just won't. And even if you were, this is fascinating. I used to sell hot dogs on a street corner in Boston. I was young, okay? But it worked. But I had to push that cart 3 miles every day. And then I had to talk to people, strangers on the street. And I sold hot dogs. And I made money every day. What I did was I had my costs and the money above. So it might as well have been a network marketing company because I was networking with people that I didn't know. But I had to follow through. I couldn't just stand there and hope somebody would win a hot dog. I went out there and I said, I got chili dogs, I got relish dogs, I got this dog, and these are a certain kind of meat. And so I did everything. as I met people, and most people would stop because I had a smile, and it's Boston, and not a lot of people were smiling. It was November, so it was cold. What I'm trying to say is I knew my consistent actions, not in hustling, but in being present to everybody who walked by, saying hello to everybody who walked by, whether they bought a hot dog or not. And most often, if I'd smile, they'd say, "What kind of dogs you got?" And I'd tell them. So I never even had to be the huckster that some people are. I wasn't standing outside of a carnival tent. I was there with a smile, a colorful hat, and they'd ask. And then we go from there. So no, life isn't that simple where people are just going to ask for us, but here's what I wanted to say. If I stood behind that hot dog cart grumpy, or wonder who's going to stop by today, or geez, I hope I don't meet any jerks, that just isn't life. There's always going to be a jerk. There's always going to be somebody who makes a crass joke. There's always going to be somebody who wants to hit on you. So what? But the only person you have to come back to at the end of the day is yourself. And you come back and you say, if I went out that day and I said, I'm going to sell 100 hot dogs, that's a lot of hot dogs, okay? And I was competing with other food vendors. So I'm going to sell 100 hot dogs, and I'm going to have a lighter cart when I push back. That was what I thought. And then everything I did worked towards selling that 100 hot dogs. So now let's transfer that back to network marketing. If you're thinking, oh, I never meet anyone, stop. Wrong thought. You come back and you say, how am I going to meet 5 people today? Oh, I could do this and meet 5 people today. Great. Now, at the end of the day, I want you to go write down. You had an intention to meet 5 people today. You said you would meet 5 people today. Did you do it? Your action is the measure. So if you've got a dream, but you don't have the action, if you have a promise, but you don't have the action, then let's get together. Let's figure out where the breakdown is, and let's go ahead and help you craft the thought and the dream with a matching action. Matching action is where it all comes about. So I'm Marla Copal. Join me at successwithmarla.com. Also, you can get a hold of me on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, Marla M. Copal, and follow me there because I'm on every day except Sundays, 8:30 in the morning at Mountain Time. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.